welcome back to another review of me, Kevin from Kevin Grant on whiskey. This week I've got something pretty special, something different. It's actually not mine, it's been gifted to me, but not all of it, just a few drams that I'm going to be able to review. So something that I've never tried. It's going to be very difficult to get other bottles of it because it is a hand fill straight from the distillery. So this is a GlenDronach hand fill straight from the cask. This was distilled in 1994 and it was bottled in 2019. So 25-year-old sherry puncheon, 54.7%, all that good stuff, all the natural colour, all the natural flavour. There's still wee bits I can see in it, just because you can just about see through it. So I'm excited to get this one on the palate and on the nose. I can smell it already. So GlenDronach itself is a Highland distillery. Highland whiskey. It's in kind of just north of Huntly. It's kind of off a beaten track a wee bit. You won't just drive by it. You have to kind of get yourself to it. It's not like Speyside when there's distilleries everywhere you look. So a wee bit off the beaten track, a little bit out of the way, but it's definitely worth a visit. Somewhere I will be going at some point in time. I've not been yet. They've got a couple of neighbours. I think Knockdhu and Glengarry could be their closest neighbours to it. But I think when you look at the kind of pedigree, GlenDronach's one that always flies at the top of the tree for me. But for me anyway, personally, I think it does. It flies at the top of the tree. So this whiskey has been in a sherry puncheon. Sherry puncheon cask is massive. I think it's 450 to 500 litres. I do think some go a bit more, but the average is 450 to 500 litres it will hold from the puncheon. So it's kind of second biggest cask after a sherry butt. So butts are absolutely huge. Puncheons are second largest out there. I'm not too sure, there's nothing on here to tell me if it is Spanish American oak. I would probably suggest it's going to be Spanish oak, but having GlenDronach being owned by Brown-Forman, the Benrique Distillery Company, it could be different. But I'm going to go with Spanish. I suspect it's Spanish, and if I am wrong, just hit me up with a comment below on that one. Oh, it smells lovely. You can just smell it already. So this whiskey here, hand filled, all the date on it, tells you the cask number and everything. So when you're at the distillery, you physically fill it yourself. So that's what Ronnie's done, and he's given me this to review this week. So I don't know too much about it. Can't go into history of it's a 12-year-old, it's got this, it's got that. It's literally just a 25-year-old whiskey. And I think if that cask hasn't finished, I would suspect if it goes to next year, it's then a 26, 27 until it's done, until it's physically finished. GlenDronach's been a massive staple through its time. It has also had its worries. It mothballed in 1996. So everything stopped, everything stayed where it was, but they just stopped working. There was no whiskey being made until 2002. When they got back, I think it was like 14th of May 2002 is when they restarted the still, started the process, out with the old, in with the new, and it's just started really taking forward. And you look at like Billy Walker being there and all these other things, and it's just magic. They did get sold by Pernod Ricard in 2008, I think it was, and that's when Benrique Distillery took over. I think Distillery Company, I think they call it, but it's under the Brown-Forman name. So there's lots of cool wee stories, cool wee bits of history about it, like from when they were founded in 1826 by James Allardyce, all the way till today, when it's changed hand, and I think it's Rachel Barry who is now in charge of all proceedings there. But enough chat about the history. Let's get this on the nose. Let's get this in the palate. I am very excited for it. I will show you the colour first of all. Hopefully that's zoomed in. Oily straight away. I can see that when I've poured it and moved it around the glass. There's just that layer just sticking to the side. So this is going to be a chewy dram, I think. So obviously high ABV of 54.7, so it's up there. I don't get that on there. It's just this rich, really sherried notes, as you can expect. It's sweet raisins, it's treacle, it's syrupy. It's got like a kind of fig note to it as well. Your rich dark berries. Let's try this on the palate. See how it goes. Slange, folks. Oh, yes. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. It goes down so easy. It's a sweet dram. It's a difficult one you could maybe struggle to keep going back to, but it is exquisite. That's stunning. 25-year-old, full life in that cask, straight into a bottle, and now it's in a glass. And I don't get to find out what much is going on here with it. It's a handful. 11th of February 94, bottled on the 3rd of August 19. That's all I've got. But I like it, and I always say this. The test is always a whiskey, not about your knowledge, not about how many cool stories you can rhyme off facts and figures. Do you like the whiskey should always be the first question, and then you can start breaking down into what it is. I love that style of whiskey that I'm really into just now. I'm really into my big sherry bombs. I think this is the biggest sherry bomb I've had in a long, long time. I'll try another wee sip, then I'll put some water in and we'll go and see if it changes it in any way. Yeah, it's sweet raisins, figs, syrup, treacle, but it's so balanced. It's not, yes, I say it's sweet, but it's not that overly sweet. A couple of drams, yes, then I think I would be done. I wouldn't go to this twice. I don't usually go back to a whiskey twice in the one night. I've got like a dram and then I'll have a wee flight and try something different to see how my palate reacts. But this one you could see yourself reaching for again. You go, I'll just have another wee one quickly, then I'll get something else. It's got that effect for sure. So I'll put a wee dash of water in there, not too much, just to see if it's going to change anything for me. It's got a leather note to it now. I'm getting a quite worn leather. Maybe that was there in the first place. I just missed it by the sweetness, but yeah, definitely a bit of leather there. We'll see this on the palate. Now there's just a wee, it's weird, I'm getting a wee bit of spice now. It's maybe something that my palate's maybe got used to. It's the first dram of the day. And maybe it's just starting getting used to the alcohol content, but there's a little bit of spice there. It's not a kind of prominent big spice. It's more your kind of white pepper, just a more delicate spice coming at the end there. It's really nice long finish too. So the new flavours now is leather on top of that. I kind of used leather, rich and expensive leather, and a little bit of spice at the end. So it's starting to really open up. It's starting to introduce itself to me and I'm getting to know a bit more. So I think this is when I'll have to sit and maybe have one more dram. I still need to give it back, so I don't want to give it back empty. I could maybe pour Coca-Cola in there and get away with it, but I better not, just in case. I've been gifted it to try a couple of drams and that I am doing. But I'll go sit, I'll go and enjoy this, I'll relax. This is a penultimate whiskey review until my break. I'm going on holiday. I'm going to Canada for more or less a month of September, so I'm going to be off the grid unless I can find some space to fit stuff in whilst I'm there. I definitely will. But next week my review before I leave is going to be a 40-year-old whiskey called Seneca, a blended malt, which I've done a wee bit of research, which looks absolutely amazing. I've actually got it sitting here, so that's going to be my final review before I go. So I'm going to leave a big hitter and see what we think about it. I'll do a wee bit of research and make sure it's a good one to finish on. So tune in next week on Friday for that final one before I go, and if I can find time whilst I'm away, I will do it. But I'll come back refreshed, maybe end of September, start of October, we'll get the videos back up and running. Maybe a new look, maybe some new ideas, who knows, but I will be back. So this is the penultimate one, so make sure you're in for next week, next Friday. Press that wee bell icon, hit the subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment if you've tried this before or something similar, and let me know what you think. As I say, I do see comments all the time. It's just so hard to try and find the time to sit back and individually read and react to them all, but I do see them and it's amazing. I really enjoy that. I appreciate it. But I'm going to go sit back, enjoy this. I'm working tomorrow. Last night I done my live. This is now Thursday, so the video's going out on Friday. So if you've seen the live and tuned in, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I raise a wee glass to you. Say slange for that, for tuning in. And for everyone that watches the videos and week in, week out, I thank you again. Slange to you. I'm going to sit back, relax, enjoy this, enjoy my day off. And that'll be me for the day. Yeah. So, as always, I've been Kevin from Kevin Grant on Whiskey. Join me next week. Let's talk whiskey.